Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Notice I picked some more chill music because after yesterday, we were all fired up. Now, our girl Britt said, do a show where you talk about several different cases. Not that I don't respect Britt's opinion, but I saw from your comments, emails, messages, what was put in our Facebook group, y'all still have this on the brain. You bet you do. Look at this from Ilyanka. We know when our girl Ilyanka is pissed, and she's pissed. Look at this. And what pisses me off even more, those dysfunctional pieces of shit, I helped you, get to choose how Quentin is buried. Are you effing kidding me? Their burial was the dumpster. What a bunch of pieces of shit. Wow. I could actually make a show just out of your comments you put in at the pre-party. By the way, if I missed you at the pre-party, look at this. Our girl Ashley Brignac is in. We actually have a show coming up. We're going to be doing a show together. She's going to be our co-host on Tuesday. All together, say, hi, Ashley. Welcome, Ashley. Let's give a big family by choice hugs and kisses to our neighbors and friends. Right there, True Crime Junkie, by the way, love that name, just became a new member of the channel. We don't really like to say member, sub, follower, because, well, I just don't like that. A new member of the fam. True Crime Junkie said, I was so pissed when nobody spoke up for Quentin. So pissed at BJ and the whole clan. Everyone failed Quentin. Yeah, they did. This is what really got a lot of people. LaLazy had her chance to speak. She still took no accountability, didn't even apologize to her family for what she's put them through. Because pieces of shit are not. They're in a nightmare, okay? They are. Could they have stopped the nightmare? Yeah, they could have. Sure. She said nothing. And the look on her face when Billie implied that she was going to, get Zane and Sky, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Nope. Leilani was defiant to the end. I was talking to my husband this morning, DT driver. He was more pissed at Tommy Howell than any of them. He said, this was the guy on the news that just said she lies all the time. She lies all the time. He said, then he gets up there yesterday and he's like, oh, she's so smart. She can just go to school and pass the test. Are you serious? 3rd grade math? I would hope so. Everyone that came up for the defense, mind you, for the defense, everything was about LaLazy and not about Quentin. Did anyone notice that? It was all about her second chance. Call me medieval, but I'm going to go there. Quentin didn't get a second chance. And when I heard that judge say life with parole, well, that didn't set well with me. Let's go to your comments that you left from yesterday's show, the sentencing, and then we're going to get to it, my friends. We are going to get to it. Peas in a pod. who is also the captain of our coin pusher Olympic team. She's trying to make coin pushing an Olympic sport. If you know, you know. Peas in a Pod said, by all rights and in normal practice, that judge should have cut off those speaking from saying anything about the trial. I agree, Peas in a Pod. I agree. She said the jurors, the conviction, they do that in other trials. They're like, we're not here to retry this case. She said, I hope they pursue charges now against Billie for giving lazy access to unalive Quentin. I agree, Peace in a Pod. Our friend Debbie Gazzardo said this outcome carried no justice, but your channel always makes me grateful for awesome people like you, and Quentin is with God. Thank you. I appreciate you too. Joanne Timberman. Georgia needs to change her laws. In my opinion, she deserved the death penalty. How can you kill your own sweet baby? Rest in peace, Quentin. Linda Lou said, just because she got 30 with the possibility of parole doesn't mean she will get out. Look at Susan Smith. She didn't get parole. This is true. This is true. This is true. But when the judge said 30, and then she tacked another 10 on there with possibility of parole. Now we have conflicting statements about this. Court TV said that after 40 years, she's eligible for parole. Okay, odds are I won't be on this planet when that goes down. But then I read a local article saying once she serves 80% of the 30, she is eligible for parole. Pat is our accountant. Pat K, what is 80% of 30? How many years are we looking at? According to the local article, when would she be eligible for parole? Doxy Mom said she'll be in her 60s if she serves the whole sentence. Not old enough. V. Oakley said, but the 10 years is consecutive. Yep, you're exactly right. Exactly right. But you know, they could also say that the 10 years for the lesser crimes, if she gets paroled, she can serve those like on house arrest. I don't know. I just didn't like hearing it. Didn't really have a good ring to my ears, if you know what I mean. At all. All right. Let's go through this. We have a lot to unpack.
Court TV Live, I'm Michael Ayala. We are tracking two big cases today here at Court TV. In Massachusetts, we are bringing you our newest trial, the Jealous Ex Shot Dead trial in a landfill. Well, today the judge listened to aggravating and mitigating evidence and testimony from Simon's family members. The judge is now issuing her sentence. So let's get you back inside that courtroom.
The one thing that I will say before pronouncing sentence is clearly little Quentin Simon's life and death impacted many, many individuals, but also the community at large. Leilani Marie Simon, the court sentences you as follows. Count 1, malice murder, felony, life with the possibility of parole. Count 2, felony murder, vacated by operation of law. Count 3, felony murder is vacated by operation of law. Count 4, concealing the death of another, 10 years consecutive to count 1. Count 5, false report of a crime is a misdemeanor, 12 months concurrent to count 4. Count 6, making a false statement, 5 years concurrent with count 4. Count 7, making a false statement concurrent with count 4, 5 years. Count 8, false statement, 5 years concurrent with count 4. Count 9, making a false statement, 5 years concurrent with count 4.
Too many concurrents for me. Too many concurrents for me. I say stack it. I say stack it. Tarhell said she looks like a young Candace to me. Does she not? Angel P said, bet if it was a man, this would be different. You are so right. You are so right. Let me tell you, if it was Danny and all the evidence pointed towards Danny, this would have been a death penalty case. I'm telling you right now. Kristen said she never apologized. Nope. Nope. Refused to speak. Didn't say anything to her son Zane. Didn't say anything to her daughter Sky. Showed no remorse. And I was so glad that GBI detective, she's a badass. I'm telling you, she is a badass. When she brought up the Tybee Island, woo, I bet Billy's butthole puckered. Because she had to follow all that. I bet Billy was about to shit a biscuit when she brought up their party at Tybee Island as the search in the landfill was going on. And this woman made it clear she's disgusted by their behavior.
Count 10 merges into count 9. Count 11, 5 years concurrent with count 4. Count 12, making a false statement, 5 years concurrent with count 4. Delia, did I get count 11?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Count 13, making a false statement, 5 years concurrent with count 4. Count 14 merges into count 13. Count 15, 5 years concurrent with count 4. Count 16, making a false.
Lisa A said, why is that bitch standing up? I would have told her to sit down. She's standing up as if she's giving respect for the court or to show I'm here for Leilani. I'm here. She just made a spectacle out of herself. And you have to admit, she's gone through some shit, man. Her hair is thinning. She's lost a lot of weight. All of this has definitely aged her. But the question is, why the hell did they not charge Billy? Anna, does Billy La Joe, my husband calls her Sloppy Joe, have the other 2 babies? If so, that's not fair. No, she does not. She does not. They are still in state custody. Yep. She's not going to get them.
False statement, 5 years concurrent with count 4. Count 17 merges into 16. Count 18, 5 years to serve concurrent with count 4. And false statements, making a false statement, count 19 concurrent with count 4. That is 5 years as well. Is there any issue that the state wants to point out with the sentence and the merger of the counts?
Was count 4, the 10 years to serve on count 4, is that consecutive to count 1?
It is consecutive to count 1.
And
It is consecutive to count 1. Okay. Either way, it's not enough. They should have gone, considering the heinousness of the crime. Malice murder should have been a death penalty case. That is just my opinion. Misunderstood said she'll do 85% of her time. That's what they're saying. She said, I still didn't get it figured out, but what I don't know is why Billie was chewing her cheek off. Did anyone notice that? Did anyone notice that? Billie was like chewing the side of her face off. It was so weird. Common sense, true crime. My girl Holly's back. She said concurrent makes no sense to me. It means basically they aren't giving her punishment for those charges. You're right. Certified crazy said, I'm sorry, but Billy Joe hasn't been through enough. Bamacat said, yes, meth mouth, in my opinion. Woo. Woo. Like I said, if all the evidence pointed to Danny, they'd be greasing up the needle right now, my friends.
May I presume that the court is not imposing any fines?
No. Mr. Hilliard?
So just to make sure, life plus 10 is the operative sentence?
Life plus 10.
Life with comp, and I guess we should do the same appeal as well. So.
Okay. And with that.
And of course, the judge, not the judge, but the defense attorney had to go and, bless our ears with, and we plan to appeal as well. And I do like how Tammy Stokes just nodded her head and said, okay. Okay.
Ms. Simon, you are hereby notified that under the law of Georgia, you are entitled to appeal the guilty verdict of the court. And if you decide to do so, you must file your appeal within 30 days of this date. You're also informed that you have the right to retain a lawyer of your own choice to represent you on your post-trial motions and appeals to the appropriate appellate court of Georgia. If you cannot afford a lawyer, the court will appoint one for you. You are entitled to and will be given a transcript of all pre-trial, trial, and post-trial matters without cost to you if you cannot afford a transcript. You may file a motion for a new trial, or you may appeal your case directly to the appropriate appellate court of Georgia for review. I'm signing the statement of appeal. I will hand this down to the clerk. If you'll please hand that to Mr. Hilliard.
With the assistance of counsel, Ms. Simon has acknowledged in writing her statement of appeal rights.
And the habeas statement is as follows. You are advised that the statute of limitations for habeas corpus in this state is 4 years in the case of felonies and 1 year in the case of misdemeanors. The statute begins to run from the date the conviction becomes final.
Well, that got her attention. Look how she tilted her head and looked up at the judge and looked at the judge's face like, you have 4 years for habeas corpus in this state for a felony. And she's like, oh, wow. Looks like I might have a chance. Well, good luck. Good luck. And she got to sit there in the courtroom in front of everybody and immediately sign that friggin' appeal. Well, we know she can't get more time with the appeal because the case has already been tried and the evidence has been presented. But when I saw her head cock not the type of cock she likes in her head. But when I saw her head kind of cocked to the side when she's explaining habeas corpus, I was like, oh, the wheels are turning. She still thinks she's going to get away with this. Goodness.
All right. May there be peace somehow.
Nothing further from the defense, Judge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state, nothing from the defense.
No,
All
Your Honor.
right. This concludes this matter. We are adjourned.
All right, so not a lot of.
No reaction from Leilani. None. None. Pat Kay, the CLL accountant. She said 25 years for count 1 and 10 years for count 4 at 85%. It's 80% in Georgia. It's 29 years. So let's say 24 years she's up for parole. I probably said it wrong. Kelly said she looks like she's eating more. I'm surprised she wasn't sitting there chewing on a Dorito or a Pop-Tart like she was doing in trial. And she's going to go to a women's prison, and they're going to know what she did. They're going to know who she is. She might get the old Adam Montgomery treatment. You know what they did to him in New Hampshire? He got to have sex with the toilet plunger and had his head stuck in a toilet full of inmates' shit. And they're still having issues protecting him in Virginia. However, Judge Tammy Stokes said this has really affected the community as a whole. WTOC, who was lucky enough to get that gorgeous letter from Leilani, we'll go through that in a second. Misunderstood said, ooh, I now pronounce you plunger and wife. Yeah, Adam he had a conjugal visit with the toilet plunger. But the neighbors have spoken out about her guilty verdict. It has really severely affected this community. Not just our community, as in us amongst friends, but the community of Savannah, Georgia.
Was what neighbors told me both on and off camera surrounding Leilani Simon being found guilty in the murder of her baby boy. People who live on that street say so much has happened surrounding that area for years now, and they're happy to return to some sense of normalcy. They say they're glad that justice has been served.
Malice murder. We find the defendant guilty.
That verdict was
I still will never get over her looking at her attorney as if she was shocked, like, what? I thought you were going to tell him then he did it.
reached in just 7 hours from a jury after hearing nearly 2 weeks of testimonies and looking at evidence. Leilani Simon was found guilty on all 19 counts for her son's tragic death.
She can't hurt him no more. He can't be hurt anymore.
Bless this woman's heart. I mean, bless her. And I don't mean in a Southern way. You know, when we say, oh, bless your heart, we're really calling you an idiot. But I mean it wholeheartedly. She goes, she can't hurt him anymore.
Jerry McCusker, Leilani's neighbor, has lived on Buckhalter Road for close to 14 years. She remembers that day investigators initially showed up to look for Quentin, searching her property along with neighbors all along that street.
We looked all through there. We went to the wood line and looked back there. Like I said, that the following morning, Thursday morning, I walked from my house to the church down there on just like looking in the ditches, praying the whole time, God, please don't let me find this baby in this ditch.
God bless her. She's no spring chicken, okay? She said, we were searching through the woods, walked all the way down to the church, looking in the ditches, just in case, something like that. He was in the dump the whole time, and they didn't know. Just imagine when they got the news that Leilani's at the house. People are out risking life and limb to search for her son, and she knew the whole time where she put him. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
Jerry says Leilani's story about how Quentin disappeared didn't make sense from the beginning.
It just didn't sound. Not at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that a child that small would come out the house.
From there,
No, especially when he can't even reach the deadbolt or anything like that. Wist said, I never want to go to a landfill again. Well, how often before did you hang out at landfills, Wist? Do you party out there? What do you do, Wist? I'm intrigued. What goes on, Wist, that you go to the landfill? My goodness, Wist. I don't think I've ever been to one.
she says all along the street, people flocked to Leilani's home, a point she makes as none of the same YouTubers and bloggers were present for Quentin's trial.
Yeah, wasn't that odd, Miss I stick to the end? Damn sure wasn't there. Where was Bullhorn Betty with all the shit she caused? Dolly was there. Dolly's very invested in this case. This case broke his heart. He was sitting there.
They had cars up and down the road here. They were standing outside the house hollering and screaming at them. And it seemed stupid to me because that wasn't helping Quentin in the least bit.
She followed along throughout the entire trial, wanting justice for that little boy across the street.
I was praying that he would have his justice. Like I said, it just seemed crazy to begin with. It just didn't seem believable.
Jerry says she hopes the verdict can bring closure.
I'm glad that she is. And I pray that she does not get out of jail anytime soon. They found her guilty. I said, now they could tear that house down.
That home across the street.
Woo! Woo! She goes, I want them to tear that house down. Tear it down. They know that baby boy was murdered in that house. They heard about the puke in the pack and play. They heard about the living conditions in that room. They heard the forensic anthropologist explain that if we break a bone, okay, we break a bone, your body is going to immediately start trying to repair that bone. The only bone in his body that his body was trying to repair was on his head. Was on his head. All the other bones were post-mortem. And there is still question about when he went into that dumpster, was he dead or alive? And I do feel bad for this woman that she had to live through this. Again, we say it on this channel all the time. Yes, you have the victim, which is horrible, horrible, horrible. But everyone else it impacts. This woman couldn't get sleep. Imagine how upset she was about little Quentin.
Street from Jerry won't be torn down though. It sold back at the end of February for nearly $400,000 to another homeowner and is currently being remodeled completely.
Oh, I bet they're totally remodeling it. I bet they are. They know what happened in that house. I guarantee they are gutting it.
We're still waiting on a sentencing date for Leilani, and we'll continue to bring you full coverage of that day when it happens.
Well, we saw it yesterday, but again, everything yesterday was about Lilazy. Was all about Lilazy. Paper Slut said they sold it for like half the price. Oh no, they made a big profit. They doubled their equity. No. I mean, they made a good, gosh, they probably made a good $200,000 on that house. Just doing simple math. Jeez. Talk about falling in shit and coming out smelling like a rose. So Tommy Howell took the stand yesterday and just talked about what a damn genius Leilani is. But it was just the drugs. It was just the drugs that messed her up, even though 3 different psychiatrists have said, nope, this is not drugs. No bag of Coke. Picked up Quentin and put him in the dumpster. No, 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 no. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 or $200,000 for selling your house. They said no. But that's Tommy's theory. But his theory certainly changed because when they got back home and found out Quentin was missing, he had a lot different things to say 2 years ago. And by the way, Jay Lord, I'm glad you're back. We have missed you. Thank you for coming in and chatting with us.
Both left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday.
And I got here about 3:30 in the morning.
That's just it's been crazy. I mean, we don't know nothing. Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear. We just want to know something. My concern is him. And that's all it is. I mean, we concerned with his well-being.
I know everybody worked really hard yesterday, but
And
I want them to keep working hard.
And we appreciate everything that everybody has done, all the people that's come out and searched for him and all that. And he's always smiling. He's a happy kid. I mean, you get some kids but he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always happy.
Let me ask you, why are you getting emotional?
Because he's not here. He's just a baby. And I want him home. He's just a baby. Leilani's my daughter. She's 22. She hasn't always done the right things. And sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe because I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her if I don't.
I mean,
I just know I'm hurting, and I want this baby home.
Okay, that's true raw emotion. I don't know if I can trust her or if I can't. Sometimes she does real good. Sometimes she doesn't. They're disgusted right here. They're disgusted with her. It was different yesterday. Was it not different? You know what I would have done? I would have given her a rash of shit. I would not have been there for the defense. I would have been there for Quentin. I would have been there for the state. And I'd have been like, how could you? How could you do this to him? I'd have let her ass have it. Now, don't you think it's interesting that she wants Quentin's remains as if Leilani should have a say-so in anything? Don't you think it's interesting that she wants him to go to her brother Paul and not her mother? I still think the dynamics between her and Billie are a big, big part of why Quentin was murdered.
We want answers, and we don't have answers.
Just thank you to everybody that's helped.
Thank you for everybody that's looked for him, and
please don't stop looking.
Yeah, like I said, we want answers. We want to find him. That's the answer we want. Is somebody found him. You know, we're still hoping and praying, and we wish everybody to pray for him. Pray for us.
Yes.
Jamie said his remains belong with his father. I agree. I think Quentin's been through enough. Well, we're going to go in the time capsule again because this is how Billie stood by Leilani's side in front of the garage saying that if Leilani did anything, she's going to take her ass right down there. She said, I will go with her. It was nothing but we want Quentin. Different story yesterday. Billie's taking more accountability for what happened to Quentin in a way, in a small way. Because Leilani, she wasn't going to say anything. Nope. She still thinks between habeas corpus and her appeal, But they're still going to find some kind of reasonable doubt that freaking Danny did it. They know Danny didn't do it.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Dawn Baker. In a WTOC exclusive, Leilani Simon, the mother of missing Chatham County toddler Quentin Simon, is speaking out tonight for the very first time since he was reported missing nearly 3 weeks ago. Chatham County Police and the FBI believe Quentin is dead and are actively searching a local landfill for his remains. Police say Leilani is the only suspect in his disappearance as well as his death. And tonight we have team coverage with our Shay Schrader and investigative reporter Max Dieknike. We begin with Shay, who joins us live outside of the Simon home.
Tell you what, I like Shay Schrader. She looked like when she was interviewing Leilani and when she was in court, taking notes, watching the whole trial. This deeply affected this woman. Same with Brett Buffington and many, many others. She looked like she could spit nails. God, she looked like she could spit nails. Now, the thing is, we did see this week, Susan Smith denied parole. They got to go through it again in 2 years. So in 30 some years, who's going to be there to advocate for Quentin and to keep Leilani in jail? Odds are she's going to screw up left and right in jail. Okay, she's going to find her girlfriend. She's going to get her some drugs on the inside. She's going to hook up with the prison guard, you know, all the usual shit they do. Who's going to be there? I don't think anyone.
Shay, what did she talk to you about?
Leilani and I spoke about a number of things, including what she remembers from the morning she first reported Quentin missing to what life has been like as the days have gone on, still with no sign of Quentin. I talked to Leilani as well as her mother, Billie Howell, who were both just distraught over Quentin's disappearance. They say they've been harassed in the days and weeks since Quentin disappeared, but Leilani wants everybody to know that she's not running away.
I'm here. I've been here every day since this. I am not running and I'm not hiding. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station.
Chatham County Police have repeatedly said.
What a freak. What a freak. If it turns out I did something, I will take myself to that police station. We've seen the interrogation tapes where they're flat out telling her, you did it. You did it. This is you at the Circle K. This is you at the dumpster. These are your text messages. This is your phone we have pinged. This is the traffic cameras. This is you. Now, we didn't know that at the time when she did her wonderful press conference in front of the garage. If it turns out I'll have anything to do with it, I'll just take myself right to the police station. They had already told her. They already had her on 19 counts of lying to them. They already knew. That's the kind of piece of shit we're dealing with. And Billy knew too.
Though they've named Leilani the prime suspect in her son's disappearance and death, they don't believe she's a flight risk. Leilani says that she and her mother, Billie Howell, spend their days in the backyard of their home because it's too difficult to be inside with reminders of Quentin and the fact that he's gone.
Every day that goes by is less tears and more anger, not knowing what's happening, if that's even understandable.
Less tears and more anger. She already knew. During the trial, we saw the interrogation interviews they did with her. They even bought the bitch McDonald's one day and let her sit there and put her sloppy mouth all over the quarter pounder and chew on fries as they were sitting there telling her, we know you did this. She's like, oh, and it makes me so sick to see this interview now knowing she'd already been told that they are looking for Quentin in the landfill. They know she put him in the dumpster, and they're not going to stop. Look at her. Less tears and more anger. I'd have choked her right there. Bamacat, is she allowed to profit from any of this? Nope, but Billie is. Nope. Leilani cannot profit from this crime, but Billie can.
You wake up every day angry, hoping that you're going to get a phone call, and that phone call just doesn't come.
Well, we watched the trial, and it seems to me you had a lot of phone calls. They wanted to talk to you a lot. They certainly weren't ignoring you, Leilani. Your dance ticket was full from law enforcement wanting to send you wanting to talk to you. Sorry, I was reading a comment. She has a new ped husband sending her money in jail. Yep, that GBI detective said. They still monitor her ass in jail all the time. She's got this guy. She calls him her husband. He calls her his wife, and he keeps money on her commissary account. So in the 2+ years that she's been in jail, she hadn't learned a damn thing.
CCPD and the FBI haven't released many details in the case and haven't said why they believe Quentin is in a landfill. Police say they're doing that to preserve any potential court cases down the line. Leilani and Billie tell me that they get their new information about the case from watching the news and that they feel all they can do now is hope.
We want something great to come out of this, but mostly we want him not to be found in that landfill.
Correction for Billie. We want him not to be found in that landfill. I'm going to help with this. I've done it before. Some people think I'm crazy. What she actually means is we don't want him found. Because as we know from the trial, they explained to all involved that they need to find Quentin. In their little pea brains, they're thinking if they don't have Quentin, they can't charge Leilani. It would have been harder, but I think they would have gotten it done.
Want him found, happy and alive. We want him back in our arms, holding us. That's what we want. We're just hoping that he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him, and they are hoping that, maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. But it's not. That's their best hopes at this point.
Chatham County Police say they have no reason to believe that Quentin was abducted or kidnapped, and they have evidence that suggests he was placed in a dumpster and that his remains are in the landfill that they're currently searching. Leilani Simon hasn't been charged with anything at this time, but police say she is the only suspect in her son's disappearance. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
And for those that are still screaming, Danny, 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 they obviously didn't pay attention to the trial. They had nothing pointing at Danny. Nothing. Everything pointed at Leilani. And yes, she was found guilty. And a lot of it came down to her attention-seeking behavior. Always desperate for the pogo stick. Michelle, thank you. The aunt blaming Danny yesterday during sentencing was absolutely disgusting, and that judge should not have allowed it. She should not. Because again, someone didn't have their listening ears on when they explained how they eliminated Danny as a suspect. They explained how they eliminated Paul as a suspect. Who they couldn't eliminate was Leilani. Boy Mama said, what was the sentence? 30 and 10, and she does have the possibility of parole. It is sickening.
We have on the screen here slide 1 of State's Exhibit 18. And what I'd like to do with this exhibit is just have you tell us the date of the message and read the message, okay?
So this was sent on 7/12/22. It says, I want to feel beautiful, not barely average. I want to feel loved, not just liked. I want to feel wanted, not just tolerated. I want to be able to look at you and know it's just me, not wondering how many others there are. I want to feel like my body is worth showing off, not like it's just been trashed from having 3 kids. I want to.
Dear Lord, I can smell the desperation from here. Why didn't she just get her some purple eyeshadow and a bottle of Winsong like Jody Sue Brown and try to woo him that way? Desperate, nasty, desperate. I agree with you, Pamela Tate. She needs life without parole. No chance for parole. And again, who's going to be there when she's up for parole to advocate for Quentin? My guess is no one.
I want to feel the way you made me feel in the beginning, like I'm treasured and safe, not like I'm just here because you really don't have a choice.
Slide 2.
Sent on 7/15/22. And I damn sure ain't the reason why you talk to other bitches in the first goddamn place or you put your dick in to begin with.
Slide 3.
On 8/6/22. Yeah, go get yourself some ass. I know mine is good enough. Never was, never will be.
Now, the video that's been introduced into evidence is State's Exhibit 19. When was this video? Were you able to tell when the video was filmed?
Yes, we were.
Okay. What was the date that video was filmed?
On August 6th.
At this time, I will publish State's Exhibit 19.
I used to love when she was sitting there writing all those notes or when she's like studying things. They're showing Quentin's bones. Okay? And she's got her head tilted and she's looking like, that doesn't look like a bone to me. I don't know. And I'm like, you're such an idiot. You really are. You know what you did.
Mama tried. Your mama's not here no more because she doesn't want you. I do. I can't love myself. If I can love myself, how can I love y'all? I have tried over and over and over and I failed. I screamed for help.
And back to Billie. Okay? With Leilani in this state of mind, in this attention seeking, I've got to get a reaction out of people behavior. The last thing I would have done was left my children alone with the woman that the state took them from. Because yes, Quentin and Zane legally were Billie's. The only thing I think Leilani was truthful about is when she said her mom said, I'm going to sign the paperwork, but you're still going to take care of them. That's why so many states do not like to do kinship fostering or guardianship, because they take the child from the problem, put the child with grandma, grandpa, aunt, and they just hand them back over to the problem.
And I don't get it. Sky, you are such a beautiful little girl. I wish I could watch you grow up. I wish I could hold you for your first heartbreak, because my mama didn't.
See right there, she has huge animosity against Billie. Huge, because my mama didn't. Oh yeah, my friends. We have a whole playlist about the Quentin Simon case. I'm telling you. There is a ton in there. And as much as people wanted to say Billie didn't do anything wrong, Billie didn't do anything wrong, Billie didn't do anything wrong, well, when they removed her permanent guardianship after Quentin went missing and said she had no more rights to Zane, this was what the court said to Billie. The maternal grandmother has a permanent guardianship order as to the child Zane. Pursuant to documents from the juvenile court of Burke County, the maternal grandmother failed to provide adequate supervision for the child Zane by leaving the child Zane in the home, in the care of the mother, a person that the maternal grandmother knew or should have known was unfit to provide proper care while the maternal grandmother traveled out of state. She should be charged. She should be charged. Granted, by the time it goes through, it'll be a misdemeanor or something like that, but still. She got like 10 days in jail for, I think, breaking the gag order. Not enough.
Sky, I love you, baby girl. And Zane, you were so handsome, so sweet, so protective. You were going to be such a good man one day. Just a good man. I hope you grow up and you learn what loyalty is. And you learn how to treat a woman and how to love a woman. And Quentin, baby, you are a middle child. You're so happy all the time. You smile all the time. I wish I could see what kind of man you would be too. And Maggie, I love you. I love you with all of me, all of my heart. I love you. I wish that the ground you walked on, when we found each other.
When we found each other. Jay Lord said CPS should be in trouble. In some instances, they should. They should have been ran through the ringer for Gabriel Fernandez. They have a deep problem with Herman Montgomery, little AJ out of Illinois. In this case, they did their job. They took Zane and Quentin from Leilani and put Zane and Quentin permanent guardianship with Billie. Billie should be held accountable.
We were both in such fragile states. And I built you back up. I would do anything for you. But during this time that I was building you back up, You were doing things that would eventually tear me back down.
Unlimited data, Wi-Fi was included, and a free. So she murders Quentin. And then she's crying to the cell phone. Of course, this video was before Quentin's murder. You just tear me down. You just tear me down. Okay, it's like the Susan Smith parole hearing, where they brought up again about the mental abuse she supposedly suffered from David. Dear Lord, goodness, are you kidding me? There is not enough abuse in this world to make a woman kill her child. No.
And even now, after everything that I think has been brought to light, hopefully it was everything, right? Even now, you look at me with the same look in your eyes that you have when you talked about Caitlin. I don't hear the love in your voice anymore. I don't feel the love in your touch anymore. And I definitely don't see the love in your eyes anymore.
I imagine why Lazy's a little tough to love, if you want to know the truth. I don't see the love in your eyes anymore. I don't feel the attention. And it's text message after text message after text message after text message. This insane video. And it was kind of like, if Danny's not going to pay attention to me, by God, I'll make him.
If you truly loved me like you claimed, you wouldn't have done all that. Even when I was carrying your child and hating myself every fucking day, crying myself to sleep every fucking night because you did not want to have sex with me. You did not want to love me. You just did not want me.
She's one of those women that she thinks that the pogo stick is love. Okay? She does. You didn't want to have sex with me. You didn't want to love me. Look, girl, he obviously did. You're pregnant. The honeymoon phase is over. You seem to skip right over the honeymoon phase and just start having kids with these dudes.
And I wanted you. I wanted you. I wanted you more than like yourself. But you've proven that it was only one way. That feeling was only one way. That love, that loyalty, it was all one way. You take care of my kids. Okay? You couldn't take care of me. You couldn't love me. You couldn't do me right. So please, for the love of fucking God, do my kids right. Do my kids really know about the river now? Finally.
Okay, this chick's face says it all. I'm going to the river. I'm going to the river. Look at this chick's face. She's just like, whoa. Whoa. That chick didn't even get out of the truck. This was nothing but attention-seeking behavior. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And if you're not going to give me the attention that I want, I'm going to find a way that you're going to give me attention. I'm going to the river. Going to the river. Idiot. Well, this is what really got y'all going yesterday. Again, I was going to do like a weekend review. That's what Britt said. Britt was going to produce the show today. But when I saw your comments, your emails, your messages, your texts, the whole 9 yards, I'm like, ooh, we gotta talk about Quentin. Because y'all were mad about that sentence. And you were really mad about what Billie did on the stand. Well, let's talk.
Billie, Billie, Joe, J-O, Howell, Howell.
And you are Miss Simon's mother, correct?
Yes.
And you understand what we're here for today, correct?
Yes, sir, I do.
And I've asked you to come forward and, if you wanted to make a statement on Leilani's behalf.
Okay, this is something very interesting, an email that was sent to me by someone that actually knows the Howell family. That said, when Leilani's older brother committed the big M and they were throwing the book at him, guess who was not there to advocate for her son? Billie. Billie. So she's there for Leilani. Now, she wasn't there for the entire trial. She wasn't going to be there. She said, because she's scared of people. She's scared of people. I'm scared of people. She wasn't there to help her son, to advocate for her son, but she's there for Leilani. I have my own opinion about this, and I believe this woman wholeheartedly. My opinion is she's still shaking in her boots that she could eventually get in trouble for leaving Quentin with Lilazy.
Did I not?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. And you understand the court is the only sentence in the state of Georgia on a murder conviction is either life with or life without parole. You understand that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you still having a chance to address the court and say what's on your mind. Would you like to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you can either speak naturally or I can ask you questions or you can read from a prepared statement if you'd like to, Ms. Howell. Which do you prefer? Not trying to put you on the spot, but you were unsure before.
I am still unsure.
Okay.
Leilani doesn't seem to be very moved by her mother's presence in the courtroom. Maybe I'm reading a little too much into it. I don't know. The one that really gets her blubbering is Paul. Sorry, I'm putting my email in here. There you go. CLL72020@gmail.com. She was pretty stoic with her mother. But Paul, like I said, got her blubbering. And when Paul said, "Hope you do good in there," I was like, that says it all.
Well, my drugs has taken and had a huge impact on our entire lives. Even as Leilani's childhood, I failed her as a mom. I allowed addiction to take over my life at a young age. And you and your brother were just babies. And you lived with my sister. And I made sure you were okay. And during those times, it was still really hard on you because you wanted your mom. Just like I know they're going to want their mom. When you come to live with me, I'd already changed my life. And I'd been working really hard. But I had changed my addiction from drugs to work.
She changed her ways. She flat out lied to the government. She flat out lied to the government and said that she was the sole caregiver for Zane and Quentin. She did not let them know that Leilani was actually, they were just going through the motions. She took her to Tybee Island and was partying. They were drunk in the yard all the time. She didn't change her ways.
And I still neglected your needs, your emotional needs. I still wasn't there for you to be your mom. My decisions have played an impact on things that have happened in your life. And there's absolutely nothing I can do to take it away. But I'm working every day, Leilani, every day between counseling and parenting classes and taking other classes because I want to be better. Because I have to believe that it's still not too late and that we still have a chance, regardless of what it looks like. Quentin and the other children changed my life even more. And I was so afraid for you that I never let you fail. I always just sneaked right in and fixed everything, which wasn't good for you. It didn't allow you to grow and to be able to make good decisions for yourself. I do take accountability today. Because I should have been a better mom and a better grandma. I should have seen something. You deserved better. And so do your children. All three of them. We might not be able to bring Quentin back, but he needs to come home. And we're all going to hold him one last time.
Okay, that's just friggin' gross. You know, all of his remains have not been found. There are still parts of Quentin in the landfill. Think about that. We're all going to hold him one more time. What the fuck? You're going to put his skull in a blanket and rock it? You're nuts. That is just gross. I'd have knocked her right off the stand. I'd have been like, all right, poltergeist, down. I've heard enough. We saw the pictures in the trial of what they found of Quentin. We saw them.
I just want to make it better, Leilani, and I don't know how. All I can do is be here for you and answer every phone call. Talk to you and be there. Listen, really listen. I'm really listening. I love you, and we're going to get through it because I raised you to know that I love you unconditionally. And today I do not put conditions on that. Because I love you. I love you. I love you, Leilani.
Junebug, my cactus lady. She said, so now that your grandson is gone, you want to be better? Should have done that a long time ago, Billie Howell. Yeah. Well, Billie said that she wanted them all gone so she could live in peace. This is part of the handwritten statement for the eviction. She said, I'm not looking to be compensated. Just want them to move out as quick as possible. Leilani Simon is my daughter, 22 years old. She's 24 now, so do the math. With her boyfriend and 3 kids. They have damaged my property, and at this point, no one is living in peace. It says, how much rent are you seeking? Not looking to be compensated, just want them to move out as quick as possible. How much peace does Billie have right now? How much peace does Billie have now? I think we have some new people in here. Look at that. Will he make it? Bet he won't. I know it's not funny, but my God, we just have to find something light. I'm glad you're here. Jam 420. Why is Billie crying now? Yeah. Does she have peace now? Weeks before Quentin's murder, she wanted them all out of her house, even though she has a permanent guardianship over Zane and Quentin. Well, she did at the time. She said she wants them all out. No one is living in peace. Where's your peace now, Billie? Your daughter got the same selfish bone your mama gave to you, Billie.
Let me ask some questions. Did you ever see, we heard a lot of this during the trial. Was there ever any of this favoritism towards Zane or Sky, or Quentin was the outcast?
No, sir. Never.
Okay. And did you ever see?
You hear the judge asking questions of the witness and this mother saying, our whole lives, drugs have had a huge impact. That can be a mitigating factor the court can consider. We're going to pause it there. When we come back, of course.
Well, they didn't consider it.
Back in 2022, his remains were later discovered in a landfill. Right now, we are hearing from Leilani's mom on the stand for the defense. Let's head back into court.
Leilani maltreated or withhold food from Quentin?
Never.
Okay. And you understand the sentence is what?
Yes,
be life without or life with. And do you think that Leilani is so far gone she should get a life without parole sentence?
No, I don't. Because I wasn't so far gone. I'm not. And I refuse to let somebody make me believe that I am. I may be too late for a lot of things, but I'm here today. I'm here.
So you're asking the court to impose a life with parole sentence, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to say before Mr. Dean asks you some questions?
No, sir.
That's all the questions I got, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Hilliard.
Paul looks stoned. Paul needs a haircut. He needs to get rid of that porn mustache. He looks stoned. I know it seems petty, but I want to know, when did shit change? When did the decorum change for court? It used to be, even if you're there just to pay a traffic ticket, you show respect to the court. You don't walk in looking all raggedy.
Her mom.
Yes.
Since day one, you have, and I mean day one of the investigation, when Quentin being reported missing.
Yes.
You had been there for her.
Yes.
You were out of town when it happened, but you came back quickly.
Yes.
You have talked to her a lot, right?
Yes.
But before she was ever arrested and since she's been jailed, right?
Yes.
Is she, you understand the jury has now convicted her of murdering Quentin with intent to kill him. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
12 neutral, unbiased citizens taking a cold look at the evidence have said that is what happened here, beyond a reasonable doubt. You get that, right?
Yes, sir.
In all of the conversations you've had with her, has she ever taken responsibility for doing that?
I love that the DA said that to Sloppy Joe. 12 neutral citizens, unbiased. They don't know you. They don't know her. They don't have a membership to Crime Lines and Lies. They weren't protesting. Took a cold, hard look at the evidence and found her guilty. Do you understand that, Sloppy Joe? Yes, 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 she says. Yes, yes, yes. So all the times you talk to her, and it's all monitored, that's the reason they know about her new boyfriend, the pedophile that keeps money on her books, they know that she talks to her mother quite a bit. Has she shown any accountability, responsibility, remorse, or anything? Here's Billie's answer.
No, she hasn't.
No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. Listen to it again without my big mouth flapping.
With her. Has she ever taken responsibility for doing that?
No, she hasn't. But she has taken responsibility for her drug use.
I know that you've taught her.
Holy hell. No. No, she hasn't. She hasn't taken responsibility. She hasn't taken responsibility for Quentin. That's what we're here for. It's not a drug trial. It's not a drug trial. She wasn't on trial for doing drugs. The drugs didn't do it. Leilani did. Okay? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But she has taken responsibility for her drug use. Well, doesn't that lift a burden? Doesn't that make us all feel better? Whoo-hoo! Slow clap. All righty. Slow clap. Do it with me. Slow clap. You are kidding me. No one gives a rat's ass about that. But I do give a rat's ass that Mrs. O has been a member for a year. Y'all, we got an anniversary up in here. Y'all do a fast clap for our girl, Mrs. O. Come on. I love when y'all send me your milestones. Megan Els, she said, everyone in her family doesn't believe there was enough evidence to say she did it. Well, of course they're going to say that. Of course they're going to say it. But a jury of her peers, 3 different investigative agencies, and then some, so there's plenty. And they didn't even put out all their evidence. So maybe they ought to worry about that. Because when it goes to the appellate courts, they're going to bring it home even further.
You get that, right?
Yes, sir.
In all of the conversations you've had with her, has she ever taken responsibility for doing that?
No, she hasn't. But she has taken responsibility for her drug use.
I know that you've taught her to take responsibility for her actions, because when she says in the news interview, if it comes out that I'm responsible, I'll take responsibility. And she said that separately another time to the police. And I believe that that is coming from your upbringing of her. Do you think that's fair?
Yes, sir, I do.
Has she ever actually done it in this case, though?
No, she hasn't.
She hasn't admitted to you that she killed Quentin?
No, she hasn't.
She hasn't told you how?
No, sir.
She's said things to you about, well, I just don't remember, and I'm not sure, and I'm trying to piece it together, and things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that the evidence has just not been consistent with that kind of claim? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
That, evidence shows that she made this very calculated drive to the dumpsters, scattered rice cereal in her car, drafted a text message to Danny about what she was supposedly doing on that trip, getting Orajel, told a bunch of lies about it to the police, right?
Yes, sir. I watched the trial.
And none of that is consistent with her just not knowing what happened. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. But even still, despite all the conversations you've had, despite you being her mother, the person that she had to confide in, she hasn't even taken responsibility privately in confidence to you.
No, she hasn't.
Is that frustrating to you?
Yes, it is.
Do you wish she would just come out and admit to you as her mother? What
Yes. Yes, I do.
One moment, please.
She doesn't want her to admit what she did. And at this point, it doesn't matter. GBI, FBI, Secret Service, Chatham County. They had it all stacked up. They knew what she did. They knew, and they proved it to 12 people that don't watch true crime on YouTube, if you know what I mean. Got a secret, can you keep it? She said, I think BJ knows more, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't the one that told her to put him in the dumpster. Again, that is just my opinion, allegedly speculating, not accusing. Don't get it twisted. But when she said in that interview, in front of the garage, we want more than anything for him not to be found in that landfill. Slice up that sentence. We want more than anything for him not to be found in that landfill.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Mr. Healy.
That's I'm a little confused, Ms. Howell, because being convicted of something doesn't necessarily mean you did it, does it?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't.
So if you're convicted of something you didn't do and you don't admit to it, it doesn't mean you did it. I mean, just because you're convicted of it.
That's correct.
Any questions?
So being convicted of something is not the same thing as admitting something you actually did now, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can be convicted of something you didn't do, right?
Yes, sir.
You can be acquitted of something you did do, right?
Yes, sir.
And there's all manner of things in between, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all the questions I got.
Anything further, Ms. Reed?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Howell, you may step down.
Dear Lord, paper slut. Said that's why we have a judicial process, my guy. For real. You would think the damn attorney that's combing through shit and knows better would know better. That's why we have a judicial system. Come on. They put everything in front of them. Everything. Here you go. He didn't walk to the landfill. No. He didn't get himself out of the house and say, I'm going to go to the landfill. No. He was put in a dumpster by his mother. So when she wrote this letter to WTOC, this was in September 2024, she said, there is no forensic evidence against me, none. Bull. We saw the trial. As in no concrete without a doubt evidence. Okay, well, I mean, if you want to play that game, if you want to play semantics, but no, there was plenty of forensic evidence against you. She says no DNA, no forensic, no eyewitnesses, no murder weapon. Sadly, Leilani was her own eyewitness because they have her on camera in many different areas, and they have all her cell phone pings. No time of death. No cause of death. No proof of any previous abuse to Quentin. That in itself is sick that she wrote this. But I'm going to let the chief of police take us out because he said it best.
And we believe that this was the right move today to be able to do that. She doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving, quite frankly, if I can go off script a little bit. Quentin deserves that.
Quentin deserves that. She doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving. And now here she is in jail. She's going to be transported from county to a women's prison. Who knows, maybe Billy will take her a plate or something if that's allowed. But she'll have some beans and white bread. She'll meet her girlfriend. She might get the Adam Montgomery treatment. I don't know, because he's not having a good time in jail. Whew. No. Goodness, no. He's not having a good time in jail at all. They can't keep him safe for nothing. Well, you guys, thank you for going through this with me, for sticking through with this case for the last, well, over 2 years, because Quentin broke all of our hearts. All of our hearts. And you guys are always here for the right reasons, and I just love you to pieces. So if I don't see you later today in Discord, one of the Facebook groups, then I'll be back Monday morning. Next week is Thanksgiving. We got a lot of shopping, cleaning, and all kinds of stuff to do this weekend, do we not? All right, you guys have a great one. Thanks for everything you do.